Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining us on the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network, also featured on the Roar on 99.1, 93.5, and 94.7 HD2. Happy Friday Eve, my friends.
I'll never get used to this.
How are you this morning, Adham? You look so nice today.
Thank you.
Yeah, he looks chipper.
Right?
Chipper?
That would be the way.
Terry, I like your bucket hat today.
Yeah, I got this from not at the Tigers game, but after the Tigers game.
Where at?
The Tiger Shop.
Right? Yeah, Tiger Shop.
The D Shop? Is that what it's called?
The D Shop, yes. Because everything, what you do is you shop, you window shop at Comerica Park, see what you like, and then you go to the other place and get it for cheaper.
Oh, got him.
This guy's
That's smart.
experienced
Steals and
shopper.
deals.
That's
Like
right.
that.
Experienced shopper. What's up, Terry?
Not
How are
much. By the way, I got some information for you.
Uh-oh.
Remember
All
we
right,
talked about how much we would pay for a beer with our top, I think you
Yep.
said $11?
I don't remember what I said, to be honest with you.
We said we would buy any beer
Oh, for
It
any
doesn't
price.
matter.
for any price.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
We're
Okay.
drinking beer
Well, it's $11.50 for the premium stuff.
Oh, we're good.
at Comerica Park.
Yeah.
That's cheaper than
We're
at
solid.
Little Caesars.
Well, they suck, so.
Yeah, nobody's
They
going to
all
games.
Suck.
Yeah.
But you get it's LCA, so the same price for the Pistons and the Red Wings.
I got an impossible question for you to answer.
All right.
Which is the best Detroit professional sports team right now?
Right now, the best professional sports team.
So you got to think about this. Yeah, that's a dandy, huh?
That's a good one. The best professional sports team in Detroit right now would have to be.
No, this is going to overtime.
Would have to be the Red Wings. But I want to say the Lions also.
You want to say the Lions because you always want to say the Lions.
No, I really mean it. I think if you ask me this in October.
Okay, deal.
Ask me in October, right before the NBA season, right before hockey season. Baseball will be well over for the Tigers. We'll evaluate the 3 seasons for them, and then we'll bucket them in with about 7-8 games of the Lions.
Okay, right now, that's an impossible question to answer.
Very, very difficult. Well,
What's
well
the worst
played,
team
sir.
in Detroit? What's the worst team?
The Tigers.
Yeah, Tigers pretty bad, but they've been winning a lot. Well, speaking of the Tigers, we might as well get to it. They shut out the Twins again. Targ Skubal. You asked me who my Tiger was yesterday.
Dime.
That's him.
Targ
Dime
Skubal.
plus 99.
Shutout, 7 innings, beautiful outing, again.
And by the way, Twins have not scored in 20 innings against the red-hot Detroit Tigers.
Winners 6 of 8.
Yes.
Not bad, not bad. So they're now 20-30, Terry. 10 games below
9.
500.
9. Oh, they're 9 behind out of first place.
9 out of first place. Yep. And I have a question for you. I don't mean it sarcastically. I really mean this.
Okay.
You know, when this team was 9-23,
Yes.
a lot of Hinch talk. You know, what the hell is Hinch doing? Why can't he figure it out? And then turned into Al Avila talk. Now they're 20-30. Winners on, let's see, they are 11-7 since. So
Yes.
just 4 games over 500 since that point. This is a team that's just going to struggle. And now they have a series against the Yankees after tonight. They finalize the series against the Twins tonight, and then they are on a 3-game road trip against the Yankees. It's difficult. Not be easy. I think Hinch, again, is just doing good work with what he has. And who buys the groceries, Terry?
Al Avila.
So, as much as I like to see the Tigers winning back-to-back games and the pitching, again, better than expected, back-to-back shutouts, good bullpen, very good to see. They're still scoring 4 or 5 runs a game.
Which is like an explosion for them.
For them, it's an explosion.
2.2 to 4 to 5. If you score 4 to 5 games,
You're doubling your output.
yeah, if you score 4 or 5 runs a game, you'll have a winning record in
If
Major League Baseball.
they scored 4 runs in every game that they lost this year, half of those losses would have turned into wins.
Okay, so that's not a bad number. He said, well, they're only scoring 4 to 5 runs, but that's actually
They would
pretty
be
good.
probably 30-20 right now, or 31-19, something along those lines. If they could
Crazy.
just score 4 runs a game.
I got a question for you.
All right.
Is the sample size too small, or is A.J. Hinch doing it again? Is he figuring out, okay, I got a bad team. Is he figuring this thing out and in his own little way turning things around where, I mean, the Tigers might do the same thing they did last year, but maybe at a little bit better clip? Because it seems like they're starting a little bit sooner this time.
In their next 10 games, it's a little early. Because their next 10 games, 6 of them are against the Yankees and the Blue Jays.
On the road.
That's difficult. Blue Jays at home, Yankees on the road. Then they are on the road to the Pirates, and then they finish off with a home stretch against the Blue Jays, the White Sox, and the Rangers. So, talk to me after June 12th. Once they wrap up the series with the Blue Jays.
I got to remember all these dates. Talk to you about the
Well,
Lions
I think you're onto something, though. I do think you're onto
October,
something, Terry.
And talk to you about the Tigers after June 12th.
I'll tell you
I'm
why.
going to have to write this down.
It's early,
Look at
Terry.
this.
It's early because I still think you're onto something, but this is why the conversation has always been Al Avila. Fat,
Right.
stupid, incompetent, doesn't know what he's doing. A.J. Hinch, top 5 manager. He is the reason. And again, guys, before the season started, be honest with yourselves. Before the season started, the confidence in this baseball team was not just because you had a lineup 1 to 9, unbelievable. You were expecting to be one of the best teams hitting the ball in baseball. No. It wasn't because top to bottom, your bullpen and your starting rotation is unbelievable. Nope. It was good. It was okay. And you have a manager that can make good into very good and okay into good.
Yeah.
That's why you had confidence in this baseball team. Don't forget that.
Well, what was the confidence, though? I expected mediocrity this year. That they would be a mediocre ball club. And
So,
they didn't even accomplish
mediocre,
that.
let's go back to last season, right? Obviously, they had that stretch of, 4 consecutive winning months. 77 and 85 last year, Terry. Is that mediocre?
Yes.
Okay. So, mediocre for, if they would have won 77 games again, I think probably would have been 6-7 off my expectation. I thought 83, 84, at most 85 wins. I didn't think it's a 90-win team. But again, why? Not because Candelario's in the lineup. Not because Torkelson and Riley Green are rookies batting this year. No. Not because Tarek Skubal I expected to be much better than Casey Mize, which he has been. No. It's because they're manager. Coaching... Terry, tell me if I'm naive. Coaching matters. Anybody that says it doesn't, it does matter. And you're seeing it right now. He's starting to figure it out. The lineup has been more consistent as of late. They just called up Cody Clemens, which was pretty cool to see. This is a team that if they walk away in the next 10 games 500 and they're 25 and 35, it wouldn't be awful considering 6 of those games are against 2 AL East powerhouses.
Right, and I think the significance of it, even though this is not a strong division, they beat the division leader. So, it wasn't like it was Kansas
Those
City.
are games they're catching. And
or
if they win tonight,
Cincinnati.
they're 8 games out.
Right.
And look, 8 games this early is a lot. But 8 games, considering the amount of games left, you also can look at, the glass half empty or half full. Now, however you want to perceive it. The work that's being done by this baseball team is nothing short of, I wouldn't say a miracle. What I would say is they are overachieving. Again, 20 and 30, averaging 2.5 runs a game.
It was 2.2.
Even
It
worse.
was really bad.
2.2 runs a game, and you're 20 and 30. Tell me, praise the Lord, Al Avila, right? Thank you, Al. God bless. Tell me more about Al Avila. If A.J. Hinch walks because of this guy, trying not to swear, Terry.
Thank you.
If he walks because of this guy, Tigers are entering Lions conversation for me in terms of history. Remember how bad we perceive the Lions, even especially under Quinn and Patricia. You go back to the Millen days. It'll be that bad. You don't let him out the door because you're stupid or because you're incompetent or because you don't have the knowledge to figure out, you know what, we're just going to start the season with 3 outfielders. And if one of them, 2 of them, or all of them get hurt, we'll figure it out.
Well,
I'm going to spend the last 8 years just drafting 18-year-old pitchers out of high school.
But, I know every time I say this, I scare you, but that clock is ticking. I'm convinced if A.J. Hinch doesn't think these guys are serious, he will walk. He'll say, see ya. And then worry. Now you got to shop for another manager.
Yeah, look, I mean, last night it was a Tarek Skubal masterpiece. The night before, 4-0 against the Twins. That was a team effort. The bullpen has been really good all year. Joey Wentz, thinking of Johnny Depp now. Joey Wentz went 4 innings, then got hurt. And then Willie Peralta, 2 innings. Andrew Chafin, 1 inning. Jason Foley, 1 inning. And then Fulmer closes it out. 5 shutout innings, and they only gave up 2 hits. That's your bullpen. That's not starting pitching wowing you. The only starting pitcher that's actually putting in the work that you can sit there and say, Al Avila did a hell of a job there, was with Tarek Skubal. I don't want to hear that we're getting 6 innings out of Rodriguez, out of your entire staff. It's not happening. It's the bullpen that's coming in and actually putting in work, which is what nobody expected this year. Funny part.
No, that's true. And you know what? If the Tigers had a competent bullpen a few years ago, they may have won a World Series in 12 or 6. That's what hurt them. Then was the bullpen was so pathetic.
Yeah, it's funny. Back in the mid-2010s, early 2010s, and then you go to the early 2000s, really 2006 and on, you look at the team and said, man, Terry, if they had a bullpen, that's a World Series team, right? And then we forget sometimes also, it wasn't the bullpen always that let the team down. Also, the bats at times throughout the playoffs let this team down. But I think it's ironic that now you're looking around who's hitting for the team, and we have an outstanding bullpen, an outstanding pitching staff. I mean, that is interesting considering none of them are big names or up-and-coming risers outside of Tarek Skubal.
But, the thing is, if you encompass an entire playoff run, every aspect of baseball is going to let you down at some point. But when I look back at the totality of things, the only thing you needed to correct was the bullpen. The hitting was good enough, even though it slumped. The defense was not great, but it was good enough. And the pitchers made bad plays too in the field, which was mystifying. I mean, you could bunt on the Tigers back then.
Who gets credit for this 6 out of 8 game stretch that the Tigers have been turning it around? Clearly, some people in the chat don't believe it's A.J. Hinch. I'd like to know why. Again, this is the guy that's deciding which players are coming out of the bullpen and pitching. Yes, it's on the players to perform, but you guys cannot have it both ways. A.J. Hinch, I thought he was overrated when they were 9-23. They're 20-30 now. What happened?
Maybe it's the laws of baseball. The laws of baseball say you're going to slump, and then you're going to be good, and you're going to be slump. Then
they're
you're going to
still
slump
slumping.
again.
They're still slumping with the bats, Terry. This is not a team that's hitting the ball well. This is not a baseball team that's hitting. What's been consistent from day one till now is pitching. Through all the injuries, they figured it out. They found the best matchups. They found this is the guy we're going to use tonight. If it's an early outing for our starting pitcher, we're going to use these 3-4 guys, and we're very confident given X history, X data, it's going to work against this team.
I guess what I mean by slump, not just hitting, but you're going to lose games.
Yes. Okay.
Then you're going to win a few games, and you have to try to keep your slumps as short as possible, and the winning streaks, keep those as long as possible. Because even the Dodgers is supposed to be the best team ever. They've lost 4 games in a row earlier this season. So stuff happens.
Absolutely. All right. Well, when we get back, Terry, we are going to rank the last 10 number 1 overall picks in the NBA.
Oh, I was going to say, what league? Because you just put down the...
Yep. I wanted to surprise you because I don't think you're going to believe this list when I show it to you.
Okay.
So I definitely want to get your reaction. I didn't want to give you a clue on what we were going to talk about. So when we get back...
Oh, so you're teasing me. Okay, that's
absolutely.
all right.
Absolutely. We're going to talk about the last 10 number one overall picks ranked in the NBA. But before we do, I got to tell you about Planet Fitness, your home of the judgment-free zone, and of course the home of the Woodward Sports Studios, brought to you by, of course, Planet Fitness. Your fitness is essential. Sign up today, $0 down, $10 a month. You have access to one of their many Metro Detroit locations. Visit them at planetfitness.com and let them know Woodward Sports sent you.
6 dark corners, a driveway and a patio, 5 windows that could become doors. Every house has unique security challenges. Guardian Alarm has more tech, more team, and more ways to help keep them all safe. Get a professionally designed and installed security and smart home system from Guardian Alarm. Sign up today and get a free video device. Guardian Alarm. Smart, right from the start. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT.
When you need apparel, there's only one place to go. Big Frog in Novi. With no setup fees, no artwork fees, no minimum, and a 24-hour turnaround, you can have your whole team outfitted in no time. Embroidery, direct-to-garment, vinyl, and screen printing, Big Frog has it all in all the styles you want. So whether it's a sports team, fundraiser, school event, or corporate needs, Big Frog is your one-stop destination. Visit bigfrog.com/Novi or call 844-4-BIG-FROG.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
Our friends at Alta Equipment know that when it comes time to getting your job completed on budget and on schedule, uptime matters. That's why Alta Equipment has partnered with the biggest names in construction. If you have a big project coming up, Alta Rents has you covered. With the most diverse rental fleet in Michigan, there's nothing your project can throw at you that Alta can't handle. Give them a call at 844-GO-TO-ALTA today. Alta Equipment, where uptime matters.
All right, here we are, back on the Morning Woodward Show. Terry?
Yes, sir.
The last 10 number one overall picks in the NBA draft.
Yes.
If I were to ask you just off the top of your head, where do you think Cade Cunningham would wind up on that list?
According to you first.
Not according to me. Alex, if you can, please, let's get the rankings up on the screen. Terry, these are the last 10 number one overall picks and how they were ranked. Number 1, Anthony Davis, which I have no issue with. Cade Cunningham, number 2. Number 3, Zion Williamson. Anthony Edwards, 4. Karl Anthony Towns, number 5. DeAndre, 8 and 6. Ben Simmons, 7. Wiggins, 8. Markelle Fultz, 9. And Anthony Bennett, who was probably the biggest bust in NBA history, at number 10. Terry, I have no issue with the list, except...
I do.
Except...
There's a clunker up there.
What is it?
I think Zion is the clunker.
I was going to go there, except I also think Karl Anthony Towns is too low. What I would have done was Anthony Davis, Cade Cunningham, Karl Anthony Towns, Anthony Edwards, DeAndre Ayton, Andrew Wiggins, Zion Williamson, then Ben Simmons, Markelle Fultz, and Anthony Bennett. I consider Ben Simmons, Zion, Markelle Fultz, and Bennett all in the same league right now, given Zion has not been healthy, and Ben Simmons is Ben Simmons, and I don't even know what that means because he is one of the most clueless basketball players I've seen. Apparently, he's still going through some mental health stuff, but then again, it's his back. So we never really know what the hell's going on with him. Wasn't available for the playoffs this year for the Nets. Don't know if he's going to be available for the upcoming season. That's a disaster. Zion Williamson weighs about 475 pounds. He's 25 pounds away from being on my Fat 500 list. So, that's an impressive list. He joined Matt Patricia and Alavila on that list.
You are really into the fat people.
I'm not.
No, you
No,
talk
he
about
is. He loves the hippos.
When you play professional basketball, it is your job not to be fat.
Hang on. Do you watch My 600-Pound Life?
I do not.
Oh,
I don't
what
watch
a
TV.
show that is.
I live under a rock, Terry. So
Yeah, he doesn't watch anything.
Is Dr. Now,
Oh,
who's really
love that
mean,
guy.
tries
Houston.
get these people to lose weight, and you have to be above 600 pounds to be on the show, and you can barely move. There's one woman. You know how she took her shower? With a water hose.
Yeah. Yeah, because they can't get out of bed.
Yeah, and then you got to pick up. They pick up the fat right here, and then you have to lotion it, clean it. It's really nasty. Yeah. I'm surprised you don't watch that show.
They gotta have like their 50, they gotta have like their 50 children lift them out of bed.
Oh God, that's disgusting.
It's part of life. I mean,
Terry, they have Kate at 2. Do you think it's a little too high over Karl Anthony Towns or Anthony Edwards?
I do, because he just had 1 year. Now, if you're projecting, I could see where he would be ahead of them. But right now, no. I'd put the Cat ahead of him. Anthony Edwards ahead of him. But, you know, Zion is a name. You know, he came in with his big name, out of Duke and everything. And once again, I'll tell this story. I was talking to I have a friend who's an NBA scout, and I told him I would draft Ja Morant ahead of Zion Williamson. And he told me, no, you wouldn't. You'd get fired, because that owner would say, no, you're picking Zion over Ja Morant, because he's going to mean more for ticket sales, T-shirt sales, and all that kind of stuff. So you won't get the opportunity to draft Ja Morant ahead of Zion Williamson.
I would have loved to see somebody do it. That would have been impressive. But what I would also say to that is I think this also has to come from projections, because Zion can't be that high unless you're projecting him to get in shape, be healthy, and look the dominant force that he was early on when he was playing. So
I don't think it's even that. I think he's a name, and I think whoever made this list got caught up in Zion is great. I've been told he's great. So they put him up that high because I don't think people who make these evaluations that we respect so much know what they're doing. They fall into the hype. They fall into traps. They just don't look at a player and say, okay, this guy is an 8 or this guy is a 9. They just say, okay.
Zion's played in 34% of his games, 85 out of a possible 246.
Okay, I don't care if you're Michael Jordan. You can't put him number 2 when he's not available.
When he's been available, he's averaged 25, 7, and 3. He can put up numbers. He can put up numbers. His second year in the league, 27 points a game. Again, I think if you project him to be healthy, he would be top 2 for me. I'd put him over Cade if he was healthy, if we're just projecting for now. But also for projecting, I would not have Anthony Davis top 3 either, because his run is probably coming to an end very soon. So he's not been healthy the last few years. He won a championship with the Lakers during a bubble year with LeBron. He was a big reason why they won it.
But even, and once again, I go back to people don't know what they're talking about. They go by hype and reputation. Even as early as 3 years ago, I had to hear some fools saying, is Anthony Davis the best player in basketball? And I was like, my head was spinning around. So, are you kidding me? We're having that discussion?
You know why we have that discussion? Because people think, people are clever, Terry. They know what they're doing. They're bringing up Anthony Davis in the conversation, not because they actually believe he is, but it's to, take a slight at LeBron in L.A. At least that's how I see it. Because there's no chance in hell any of you would take Anthony Davis on your team if you got to pick a player to start your franchise with in their prime today.
That's the whole Woodward Sports Network that you're talking about, or you're describing.
Oh, God.
LeBron has done nothing right according to them.
Look, if we're talking projections, Zion Williamson, year 1, 21 points a game. Again, I don't need to defend Zion. His first 2 years in the league, injury-riddled, along with lots of wow star impact. I mean, he put up numbers. He was impressive. His problem is he's not healthy. If you told me Zion is fully healthy, no issues, for the next 3 years, and you told me to pick between him and Cade, that would be very difficult for me. But I would probably lean towards Cade, given he's the guard, he's the one with the ball in his hands, he's the one dictating what happens with my basketball team. With Zion, I don't have enough historical data outside, especially in the modern NBA, to tell me that a power forward that can't dribble the ball up and down the court, can't average 6, 7, 8 assists a game, is capable of being the superstar X factor for my team that leads the way. I think Cade can do that. I don't believe Zion can do it. Zion is going to need somebody like Cade to be there with him the entire time.
Now, if Zion had someone like Cade to facilitate things, he still might average like 26 points a game, the same amount, but his shooting percentage would be higher. And a lot of times when a guy averages a lot of points, or 28, 30 points, like your boy Westbrook, it's because they're feeding him the ball so much. But sometimes you got to go to other areas. Other people are open, because then you sag your defense on Zion, and then there's a time to go somewhere else. But what you did, this is our guy, so we're going to go to him no matter what. Now, he's still going to get his points, but he might shoot 40% doing it.
If you told me your front and back court was made up of Cade Cunningham and Zion Williamson for the next 7 years, I would guarantee you not only a championship, 2 finals appearances minimum.
Well, I got a key question. Who's your team trainer?
You know,
who's
that's
your
so
team
sad.
dietitian?
That's so sad, Terry, though. You know, jokes aside, obviously, you know, I called him a 450-pound gorilla. You know, jokes aside, with Zion, again, he's special. He was special coming out. And a lot of it hype. I know you mentioned Ja Morant, but look at the kid. Effective, super efficient from the field. Roughly, I want to say it's slightly over 60% from the field in his career. Averaged 25 points a game. Career high 27 in year 2. You go find me a player averaging 27 in year 2. That effective, or efficient, from the field. He can be special. His problem is the health, and
he can. But I think
that's the biggest outlier.
When you listen to people describe Zion, even before he stepped into the league, they questioned his health.
Of course, the Duke game ruined it for him.
Right.
If you remember the game when he was with Duke, his sneaker blew out.
Right.
And that was like, oh man, that force being that violent, coming off the ground, landing on the ground, takes a toll on you, especially when you're a big guy and you're not in shape.
You know what that reminded me of when he blew out his sneaker? Bo Jackson. Because Bo Jackson was so explosive, but his career didn't last a long time. It's because maybe it's possible to be too explosive.
What do you think of this commentary? Zion can dribble. He doesn't need to average 6, 7 assists a game. He shoots 69% from the floor. Love y'all, but you're sounding ignorant. Excuse me? Yeah, okay. You're going to win and compete for championships just because Zion's putting up 27 points a game?
No, that's not going to happen.
I don't think you've noticed, but you need somebody to lead your team. Zion can't do that. And he hasn't proven that he could be the guy that makes the key 3, 4, 5 passes a game that you need to make as a star player. He needs a backcourt guard. He needs a guard that's at his level or slightly below it in terms of star status. And then we can talk about competing. I don't want to hear that. You kidding me? Who would you trust building your team around today? Cade Cunningham or Zion Williamson? Forget the overweight, out of shape, missing the whole season. The next 5 years. Go look at the 4 teams that are in the Eastern and Western Conference Finals. Luka Doncic, Steph Curry. Luka Doncic, Steph Curry, Jason Tatum. Come on, guys. It's a guards league. Zion Williamson. He can dribble. Oh, wow.
Yeah, he can dribble. Everybody can dribble, but not very well.
But is he leading? Is he a point forward? No, he's not. Giannis developed into one. Can Zion do it? Sure. Let's see him on the court first.
Well, we don't know that.
You can't average 27, 7, and 3 and expect to be that much of a difference maker. I'm sorry. I'm not buying into it at all. At all. We got to go to break. When we get back, Jeff Iafridi joins the show to discuss the latest ESPN mock draft that has the Pistons taking Keegan Murray. Keegan Murray, Terry, at number 5 overall. But before we do, I got to tell you about the Mulligan. The summer is here, and there's no better drink than the Mulligan, guys. Check it out. The official drink of the summer, iced tea lemonade, and Gypsy vodka. A great mix, whether you're on the golf course or in the backyard with Terry. Have a good Mulligan. Crack some jokes, talk about Zion Williamson being out of shape, and you'll have a good time. Drink responsibly as always, and we'll see you in a bit.
Life is full of hard choices. We're here to make one of life's biggest decisions as simple as possible. My name is Christina Gennari, and for over 20 years, I've helped hundreds of families buy and sell homes. We cover all of Metro Detroit and more, from large luxury homes to starter homes. We will work hard to make sure that you get the home of your dreams. So if you're in the market today or even thinking about buying or selling in the future, make the obvious choice. Christina Gennari, the obvious choice in real estate. Visit us at soldchristina.com today.
Strawberry Fest is back at Big Boy. We brought back some of the classic breakfast items like the strawberry French toast, hot cakes, and waffle. If you're not feeling breakfast, try our new strawberry bacon chicken wrap, crispy chicken wrap, nacho wrap, or strawberry salad. The perfect recipe for springtime. And don't forget to grab dessert, including our berry delicious strawberry pie for only $1.99 with the purchase of $7.99 or more at participating Big Boy locations.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
Well, it's a little rainy outside today, but don't worry, you can still get your vitamin D and your tan on at Chili Peppers Tanning. That's where you find the cleanest salons in the D with spotless sanitized rooms and trained certified tanning professionals. Join the Pepper Club for all the best deals on unlimited tanning. Chili Peppers has the hottest bulbs, the hottest deals, and the darkest tans.
Chili Peppers tan!
You're the worst.
All right, we're back here on the Morning Woodward Show. Maddie is the best. Jeff Iafridi joining us this morning. Jeff, what's up, man? How are you?
How you guys doing?
We're good, man. We're good.
Jazzy
looking
Jeff.
good. Looking good. Looking like you're about to hoop.
I didn't wear a hat. I haven't been wearing a hat.
I looked at this guy and I said if I was playing pickup basketball, that'd be my first pick right there.
That's what I'm talking
We
about.
got to do a Woodward pickup league.
Oh,
man. What
absolutely.
are we doing? What are we doing here? Wasting time.
Woodward Pistons, everyone over there has been talking about trying to get something together. Let's do it.
You guys let me know.
That'd be hilarious. I think a lot of people would show up too.
That run the
awesome.
indoor courts.
Yeah.
So we can get something reserved.
We can get
All
it
right,
going.
Jeff, before we get into Keegan Murray and the Detroit Pistons, I got to ask you, Zion Williamson, big disappointment over the last 14, 18 months.
Yeah.
Unfortunate. I mean, 27, 7, and 3 his second year in the league, 26 PER, efficient as hell, 61% from the field.
Yeah.
But injury history, he's played in 34% of the possible games he could play in.
Mm-hmm.
That's a problem. Do you believe Zion Williamson is a guy that can be a Steph Curry, a LeBron James, a championship leader who is facilitating? Is that a thing? Or does he need to be Zion Williamson, who is essentially Anthony Davis, maybe? Let's say he's Anthony Davis, but he needs a LeBron with him.
Right.
A guy that can handle the ball, that can set up teammates and set him up as well.
I think right now it's too early to really tell. I think if I had to give an answer right now, I would definitely say Anthony Davis. That's kind of where he's going. He's not going to be, like a Giannis where he's going to single-handedly take your team to a championship. But when he's healthy, I mean, you just mentioned it, 27 points per game on 60% shooting. It ain't. I mean, he's playing with grown men. It ain't easy to do. It's really just the weight and staying healthy. And people had questions about him coming out of college. So as long as he could stay on the court, Pelicans got a good team. That's why they went out and traded for C.J. McCollum. Now you have your lead guard, and then you have Zion, you got Brandon Ingram. So New Orleans, they're putting it together. But they absolutely got to re-sign Zion because, listen, New Orleans as a market, we talk about Detroit, it's hard to sign free agents. If you have a number 1 overall pick, you can't let them walk out the door, that's for sure.
But that's exactly what's going to happen. I don't think we can talk about Zion and his desire to win championships, or if he can win a championship, until he's with his second team, because that's going to be the team he wants to be in. I don't sense he really loves New Orleans. I don't.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I think he's got one eye looking out the door somewhere else.
He wanted to go to New York, and that didn't work out. His Duke teammate went to New York.
I don't know why these guys want to go to New York. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Well, you want to go to New
me.
York, but not to the Knicks.
Yeah, that's not to Brooklyn either. And Brooklyn's not New York, by the way. Can we agree on that?
No, it's New York.
You still? I
It's
can't.
New York.
It's not.
Brooklyn is New York. Queens is New York.
It's in New York,
the
but it doesn't
Bronx
have
is New York.
it doesn't have the same feeling as New York. You say you're going to the Nets, people are like, who? When you say you go to the Knicks, they're like,
I'll
oh,
give
the
it to
Knicks.
Terry.
What a great team
out of
that
respect
is.
for Jay-Z.
Yeah, out of respect
Let's
for
just
Jay-Z.
move on. All right. Keegan Murray, Jeff,
Yeah.
projected to go number 5 overall to the Detroit Pistons. Walk me through, 1, what do you think of the pick in this latest mock draft from ESPN? And 2, how does that fit with what the Pistons are, 1, building around with Cade and Sadiq Bey, Killian Hayes coming off the bench? And does that address the need for a 5 that they just don't have? And is Marvin Bagley enough to get you through a full season?
Well, I'll say this. I'm okay with the pick. Keegan Murray's somebody, and obviously with ESPN mocking him to the Pistons, that would be if Jaden Ivey's gone at 4. So it makes sense. The fit makes sense. If you trade Jeremy Grant, you have another guy who can essentially fill in that role. With Keegan Murray, though, I'm a big upside guy, and I like to swing for the fences, especially with a top 5 pick. And out of the guys available, if Jaden Ivey's gone, I can see it, and certainly in the East, if you look at size matters. I mean, you have Giannis, you have Jimmy Butler. I mean, and pause on that, but it's true, especially out East. You need Keegan Murray out there to at least match up with people. So that's why if you lose Jeremy Grant, you get a Keegan Murray. So you can slide right in. He'll fit really well with Cade. I think any of these guys
Jeff,
will.
What's more important, size or length?
I would say both. You know what I mean?
I'm so glad there's no camera on me right now.
I would say arguably you could.
You said it.
You
Not
could
me,
make
by
a
the
case
way.
for
You set
both.
yourself up.
Hey, the film don't lie with Keegan. All right, he's got the length, and especially defensively, he checks all the boxes. So I wouldn't have a problem with it. It just, I don't think that's the pick that people gets people up in the morning. You like a guy with high upside, and certainly has some upside. But like I said, he's probably the safest pick, but can still be a pretty good player in the NBA.
All right. Terry, we talk a lot about what the Pistons need to give Cade Cunningham a lot. It's so early. And I always point to the Boston Celtics and the Golden State Warriors. You can build, I believe, a Jaden Ivey. I like the sound of that more because this is a guy that can get you buckets. Look at the Milwaukee Bucks. The Milwaukee Bucks are repeating this year if Chris Middleton's not injured. And it wouldn't even be close. Why? Because you don't have an answer for Giannis. And when Giannis is either A, off the court, or B, on the court, and he's getting all the attention, who's the guy that's going to get buckets that I don't have to, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't have to cater to.
Right.
That's Chris Middleton. I never have to worry. He's going to go out and get his shots and score me buckets when I need them. I feel like I don't believe I get that with Keegan Murray. I feel with Keegan Murray, I'm getting a good player that at best is what Andrew Wiggins is on the Golden State Warriors right now. And that is me being very nice.
Right. And I think the difference with Keegan Murray, too, and he was great in transition at Iowa. I think one problem you see with him, though, his ability to go create his own shot. And that's something, whoever I'm drafting at 5, I got to be able to give the ball to and say, go get a bucket. I think Jaden Ivey's that. I think Sharp can be that. Ben Matherin's another guy. So that's why I'm high on those 3. Certainly, I mean, Terry, we've had the conversation. You mentioned it. He's soft or whatever the case may be.
I think he's soft.
And I do think there's some argument there. I mean, defensively, he's great. But like I said, if you want to swing for the fences, I just don't think Keegan Murray's the pick. But I think it's easy for a lot of teams to fall in love with them. Certainly, like you bring up the Boston Celtics when they drafted Grant Williams. That's kind of the prototypical player you're looking at. 6'7", 6'8", can switch multiple positions, can shoot the 3, obviously. So. And he's a great rebounder. So I don't think there'd be an issue if they take Keegan Murray. I'm still like, all right. Certainly I think Keegan Murray's a player that Troy Weaver is going to fall in love with because you got to understand it's not always just what you're getting physically. It's the interviewing process. He's going to interview all of these guys. And so far, what I've heard out of Keegan Murray is he's the most mature. Obviously, he's 22. And I think when people hear that, you're getting a player right out of the draft at 22 years old. He'll be 22 on draft day. I get it, but again, you're getting a much more NBA-ready player, so it just depends. I think anywhere he goes, he'll be a great fit.
And supposedly, of all these guys, he's the most mature.
Absolutely.
He interviews best. He's analytical. He can explain things better than these other guys. So the Pistons might fall in love with him during the interview process.
Right.
And this will lead me to my next question. Do we have to change the rules on this 1 year of college only? Do we push it to 2 years? Because these kids are coming in, and let's just call it what it is, guys. They're not reaching their potential 6, 7 years, 8 years after they get drafted. That's just the reality. Now, some of them show promise early on, and it's like, all right, cool, we'll stick along with them, like Jaylen Brown, like Jason Tatum. But that is such a young age. There's so much basketball you need to learn still. And again, you're coming in at 19, 20 years old.
Yeah.
And you're dealing with grown men. I still think that is a big reason why a lot of these kids just don't work out. This one and done. How many players looked so damn good in college, got to the league and were overwhelmed, and then their careers folded?
That's true, but college and NBA basketball are two different sports.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's like cricket and soccer or something. It's just that, they're not the same sports. I equate college basketball and NBA on the same level. It's like I invented this sport and called it college basketball, and now I invented an entirely different sport, and I'm calling it the NBA. So that's why you get the guys who can't play or they can't keep up or they got the deer in the headlight.
Again, how many kids can come into the league like Cade Cunningham, like LaMelo Ball, Luka Doncic? How many? Maybe one every draft? So there's only one player every draft, I know. That's insane to me, and that means that teams picking 2 to 7, unless they're one of the teams that got them. You're sitting there like, this is a project. Sekou was a project. Killian was a project. Everybody's a project. Not that they wouldn't be at 22 years old, but they would be much more polished.
And you saw certainly, an example of that would be like Jalen Green, for example. He didn't go to college, but he went to the G League. And I think that's what's really good about what the NBA is doing, is allowing these kids from high school to go right to the G League, play a year with pros. I mean, it's not the NBA, but of course you're playing with grown men, and then they can take that step next to the NBA. So
look
certainly
at the difference
some
for Sadiq Bey. Instead of playing one and done, he was a 2-year guy.
Yeah.
2 years at Villanova, and again, that's one of the better basketball programs in the country. He comes out and contributes right away for the Pistons.
Right.
I don't know if we need to we need to look at how many years we mandate, but
in my prediction,
again, there's a lot of money involved, so I don't blame these kids walking out at 19 to be a lottery pick and making a guaranteed 50, 60, 70 million. God knows how much it is now in the NBA. It depends on where you're picked in the NBA draft. So
I feel like the NBA is moving
sneakers
back to coming out of high school. I feel like that's going to come out in the next couple of years, and maybe that's not ideal, but certainly, especially if you look at college basketball.
Look at Shaedon Sharp. He's probably the perfect example. He just decided not to play, and I find that incredibly amazing. And if he doesn't work out, do we assign that to, he never got college experience, he wasn't ready for the pros? Or is that, he was just never going to work out anyways?
Right.
That is very complicated.
But
Jeff,
the
thanks
thing
so much.
is, I understand you saying make a mandate for 2 years, but I'm going to ask for the impossible. I'm going to admit it right away. How about better advisors for these young guys? Sometimes somebody's got to tell you, no, you can't do this. Instead, it's like you do one and done. You have a okay college season, so I'm coming out in the NBA.
Yeah.
You need some grown-up. I'll volunteer. No, you're not. You can't play. You're going to get eaten alive. One more year in college, I'll let you go.
And it's so hard because kids want to get paid. They want to take care of their family. So there's a weird draw in between that, but I'm sure they'll figure it out.
It's very difficult, and I think NIL could help that, though, right? Because these kids would be making money. So
absolutely.
I think that's something for the NBA to consider. Granted, they have the G League, but that's a conversation for a different day. Jeff, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you, guys.
Before we go,
good luck in your pickup game today.
Oh, yeah, we got to do pickup games soon.
Let's do it.
By the way, you know who has a wicked jumper? Ku. You see his videos yesterday on Twitter?
He's got a jumper.
He's got a jump shot. It's not bad.
I want the smoke. Tell him.
Not bad. We should. Well, he's on later today, but before you go, Jeff, could you tell everybody at home about our good friends over at the Sports Marketing Agency?
Yes. Well, our friends, the Sports Marketing Agency, helps spread awareness about mental health and substance abuse. Their new podcast called This is the F Word series on fentanyl helps spread awareness of fentanyl and other addictions. Please go to thesportsma.com if you're struggling or know someone who is.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Hello? Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
Well, it's Friday Eve, and there's nothing better to do on a Friday Eve than head on over to the Bowling Warehouse in Hamtramck. That's where you'll find the home of the original football bowling pin game called Bowling. They've got two ways to play: $12 unlimited open play, or you can reserve a private lane for just $120. Don't forget, of course, they have a $2 mystery beer machine as well as multiple full bars. So check it out at thebowlingwarehouse.com.
All right, here we go. Back on the morning show, 8:47 this morning. Terry, I want to get to something you brought up last night. By the way, tomorrow we're going to have Corey Woods on. I'm excited. Today's media availability day.
All right.
So Corey will be coming in tomorrow with a lot of information. I'm excited to hear from Allen Park. But Terry, talk about this often. How important is it for teams to cater, especially in the NBA, to these young guys? Because if they're not a Cade, a LaMelo, a Luka, if they're not coming out right away and contributing and showcasing their skills, well, how do you prevent them from busting? And is that keeping them, is that implementing a rule where maybe if you're one and done, you can get drafted but still go back to college? And then they call you up when you're ready, similar to what the NHL does? Or do you think that's just not a thing and we need to accept that, given we've seen many Hall of Famers get drafted out of high school? We've seen many one-and-dones become all-stars, superstars, Hall of Famers, doesn't matter. What does that look like?
It looks like something that's not in place now. I don't like the fact that if a college or high school player makes a mistake, or if they decide, I'm going to get in the NBA draft, and then all of a sudden it's like, nah, son, you're not good enough. And before you even get in the training camp, he should be able to go back to college, because it could ruin his career. Maybe he's a guy that eventually could make it if he went through the proper channels, but if a guy doesn't get drafted, he should be able to go back to college. My bad, I goofed up, give him that opportunity. Because we're giving other people opportunities. I mean, if you pick the wrong college, we're letting you transfer. So I don't like the fact that a guy, once he declares, that's it. He hasn't gotten paid. He hasn't played a professional game. Yeah, he may have an agent, but to me, that's not a professional. He's still an amateur. So I'm willing to bend the rules even more. You put yourself in the draft. The NBA says in the first and second round, no. Let that guy go back to college.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
And you know what's the worst thing can happen? He can go back to school, improve as a player, get a little bit more of an education. What's wrong with that?
Nothing really. Nothing really wrong with that. And again, it depends on the individual. A lot of these guys, they make it because of their individual greatness, because of their mentality. But we'll save that conversation for another day. We got Ku Khalil on from Locked On Pistons around 9:16-ish, 9:15 So when he gets in, I definitely want to ask him about what he thinks with players coming in this young. Is it an issue for the NBA that we're just ignoring? So we'll get to that in a bit. But Terry, we got 10 minutes before the top of the hour. I got to ask you. You're telling me you can't find a car.
That is correct.
The hell do you mean? Like to
Driving
buy a used car? What's going on?
Here's what happened. I put an order for a car in February.
Through a dealership?
Through a dealership. They told me it would be delivered. It's going to be manufactured May 3rd. Then, I get these emails. They say, well, not May 3rd, May 23rd. So, and then after they build it, I guess you get it 2 weeks later. Now they sent me another email saying it's going to be produced June 25th.
Oh, boy.
So which means if the process goes through, I'll get a car in July.
Yeah.
So since then, I've decided the car that I ordered, I don't really like. I want another one. And so what I'm learning through the process now is you go on the internet, and I've done this a few times. I've gone on the internet, saw the car I wanted, and talked to a dealer or whatever. And I'll tell you a story. I got a call on a Tuesday afternoon. The car you want is in.
Ooh.
When can you come here? I said, tomorrow, 11 a.m. So he said, okay, come on in. So I'm driving to the dealership. So my phone rings. It's my man.
Okay.
He says, hey, your car sold.
Ouch.
So that was it. Another one, I test drove the car I wanted. I love this car. I'm like, cool. My wife tells me, well, she doesn't like the car because it's too boxy. And then 20 years ago, her dad told her, don't get a car unless it's a V4 or V6. The one I wanted is V3 turbocharged. So she said, oh, my dad says you shouldn't get a car like that. See, that was 20 years ago. Stuff has changed.
Ouch.
So that car sold because she fumbled around, and, we have to make decisions as far as money's concerned. So she tells me 2 days later, you know what, go ahead and get it.
Ouch.
So I call my man, sold.
Yeah, once you like something, you got to get it, or you're not getting that thing back.
Since then, that car has not come through, the one that I want, for 3 weeks. And I've been dealing with Ford dealerships in Sterling Heights, Waterford, and Troy.
You should go to... Okay.
Where should I go?
Go buy a car for my dad.
Oh.
Well,
you guys want to hear an effed up story?
Sure.
So this happened when I was a kid, so my dad's not going to get in trouble, so whatever. You guys know the military discounts you get at Home Depot?
I've heard about them.
All right. So my dad's name is also the same name as his brother, who served.
Okay.
They have the same name.
Yeah.
They look very similar.
Okay.
So when my dad bought a car, I think it was like in the early 2000s, he used his military ID, that it wasn't his. And he got like an insane discount off the car. I think it was like 15%. So I don't know if my dad should be arrested for that.
I have no problem with that.
I don't know. But Terry, actually, I'm in the same situation as you. I have 2 leases. I reached out to the guy that I get my cars from, and he told me 2 months ago that if I ordered the car today, I would get it at this price per month with whatever down it was, and it would take 3 months to manufacture the car.
That's a lie.
We are 3 months now.
Mm-hmm.
I have not gotten the email that says it's even in the assembly line.
Right. You will
and there's
get
a big
that
delay.
email, say, hey, it's July or something like that, based on what I'm experiencing now. But I learned the game from other people. I think a lot of people are going on the internet, looking up whatever car they want. And I read a story the other day. A dude drove to Texas to get his car and drove it back.
Mm-hmm.
What is that thing, Carvana?
Carvana, where they deliver your car? Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. They're awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you just go there then if you're saying they're so awesome?
Because
do they
I
do
don't want
new?
to buy a car.
I want a new
lease
car. But does Carvana do new cars? Or is it all used or pre-owned?
I'm sure they do.
Yeah, I'm
There's
sure
no
they
such
do
thing as
everything.
Used cars pre-owned now.
I'm pretty
I don't
sure
think
they
you
do.
can lease them though. I think it's like buy only.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. Buy.
You want to buy it?
Yeah, I'm a lease guy.
So am I. I need a new
love
one every
leases.
2 years.
It's so convenient. Not even just a new car every 2 years. You don't have to worry about maintenance, changing tires, something going wrong on the car. It's just saves you a headache.
For
Yeah,
sure.
it's
But what they get you on is if you go over on the miles, and then they charge
I don't even
me.
want to talk about that. Don't
They
worry,
charge
Terry.
me
We got that taken
$300
care
for
of, dude.
wear and tear. I swear, when I turned my lease in, I looked at nothing was wrong
Always
with
take
it.
pictures. Always take pictures. I learned that from my mom. I always take pictures before I turn in my lease. Inside the car, outside, every single angle. And I date it, and I submit it with the car. And this is what the car looks like.
You know
And
what
if they
you should
send me a
do?
wear and tear deal, I give them a middle finger.
You should either get it detailed before you turn it in, or go to Jack's, because they clean your car and make it
Over
look
the
new.
miles, by the way, it's like, what, 25 cents?
Yeah, they
for
get
every
you on that
mile?
one. Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah. So 1,000 miles is $250.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's not bad. I mean, I was only ever over mileages once, but, don't worry. All good.
Now I knew a guy, not that I used him, but I knew a guy.
I should probably stop leasing.
He could turn your miles back.
Yeah, that is a thing. That definitely is a thing. Oh, believe me, I know. I went to a dealership one time. I was 19 years old. It's my first ever car I got. And I bought it. And I told him, hey, I'd like to, fix some of the stuff. It had a few dents in it. And the mileages when I bought the car was like at 70K. He's like, man, this car's in good shape. What'd you pay for it? And I told him how much I paid for it. He's like, this is like some Romanian guy. I've never met him in my life. He's like, oh, we will fix the bumper. And I'll take the miles to 25,000, then you sell it.
Right.
And I'm like, okay. What the hell?
Sure.
Insane. But
I tell
whatever.
you what else is going on here. I've been looking for new cars, and so yesterday I test drove a used car. It was a 2021, the same model I wanted. 27,000 miles on it. It was $500 more than the new car I wanted. And I talked to the dude, said, how does this work? What? He said, it's probably got something else. I said, but still, it's a used car. Well, it's not used, it's pre-owned. I said, I thought as soon as you drove a car off the lot, it depreciates. How does this thing appreciate?
Yeah.
So I said, no, I don't want this car. And plus it rained when I was on my test drive.
What me and my wife do is her work is like 2 miles from the house. So it's super easy for her to get to work. I'm like an hour drive every day. So what we'll do is like when I use the hell out of the car and then mileages are getting like, in danger territory, we'll swap cars.
Sure.
And that thing won't even go up for like 6-7 months. So that's how we avoid it now.
That's what my parents always did.
Yeah.
They usually like, for a while they bought one and then they leased one, but they have 4 kids, so that only lasted so long.
Yeah, we're trying to go and at some point be a family that's not doing car payments. Because I'm driving my son's car. Well, it's still my car, but we gave it to him. It's got 197,000 miles on it. No air. So I'm tired of that.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I'm telling you, leasing is the way. I love leasing cars. So convenient. What I also love is getting my haircut and being treated like a king, like I am at Lady Jane's.
Woo!
Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 10-8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime, no appointment necessary. Their awesome stylists will take care of you like they take care of me. Again, that's Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Check them out. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's. It's wicked awesome.
He's going deep, right side. Oh, that is Edwards out there. He goes up in the air at the goal line.
Hey, it's Brandon Edwards here, wanting to welcome the sports marketing agency to Woodward Sports Network, to the family. Glad to have you guys. For the last decade, the sports marketing agency has literally leveraged athletes around issues such as mental health and substance abuse.
Glad that we can finally start trying to get the stigma off of mental health that's been there for all these years.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
OddsTrader. OddsTrader.com is the #1 site for all of your game day bets. For play-by-play updates, live scores, and bet tracking, you can even download their app from the App Store. Don't forget, when you go to their website, you'll find the best price on every game and sign-up offers from multiple sports books. So head on over to OddsTrader.com.
All right, we're back here, top of the hour, on the Morning Woodward Show. By the way, moving forward, we have an amazing, exciting announcement to make with all of you, with our new friends and partners over at Bedrock Detroit. Guys, check them out near Campus Marsh. I'm excited. Yeah, Matt, we'll get to it. We're going to get to it a little later, but we have some fun stuff planned every top of the hour moving forward with a Bedrock. So I'm excited to share all of that news with all of you soon. But Terry, Dan Orlovsky's list of quarterbacks that you can win with.
Okay.
All right. And not only the ones you can win with, but the ones you win because of. And the list was interesting. Obviously, the notable names: Mahomes, Josh Allen, Herbert, Brady. Stafford was on there. And this isn't just about Stafford, because Derek Carr was on there too. So there's a couple guys I do want to discuss, but we'll start with Matthew Stafford. Are the Rams, and have they won games because of Matthew Stafford? There's a difference now. This isn't a quarterback you can win with, right? You haven't identified him as a quarterback you can win with. Is he a quarterback that will carry you and win you football games? He is a part of that list with Justin Herbert, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers. Do you believe, one, he's earned the right to be on that list? And two, do you agree he is that guy that can win you football games?
I'm going to have to say yes, because he didn't win a few more games for the Rams. He won the Super Bowl. And that's an impossible stake. So if Matthew Stafford has the right pieces around him, he can make them better. This is a tough one, because last year, Matthew Stafford did the same things he did in Detroit. He made critical errors at the wrong time. But the Rams were so good, they gave him second and third opportunities, and he took advantage of it. It's like, okay, we had a bad series. I'm going to milk Cooper Kupp now. So I'm saying yes only because he won a Super Bowl. But in many regards, I saw the same quarterback in L.A. that I saw in Detroit. But here he had to be perfect or close to perfect to win. There he didn't have to.
So my question to you is, if I were to take a Josh Allen, a Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, some of the guys on this list, and give them those teams that he had, would you expect them to do the same thing in terms of that 12-year stretch? They accomplished similar to what he did, which was about nothing. Then they leave and they transcend into the Super Bowl winning quarterback. Is that an anomaly, or is that just the harsh truth that the Lions have been poorly run for the longest time, and it was just one of those things that was bound to happen? The first franchise quarterback since Bobby Lane walked in the door, the second he left, he would find the ultimate success as a result of how it was managed.
I didn't think he would find the ultimate success, but I thought he would at least get to the championship game there.
I would like Terry, I'm a stat geek. All I look at is data all day.
Good for you. We got to throw the human element into it.
We do. We definitely do. Stafford last season, the first quarterback ever to win the Super Bowl and throw for 6,000 yards and 40-plus touchdowns. The most touchdowns ever thrown in a season by a Super Bowl winning quarterback. The most yards ever thrown. I hear a lot of the interceptions were a problem. And I'm sure you all remember about week 8, week 9, there was a 3-4 week stretch where the kid just wouldn't stop throwing interceptions.
Right. And we thought that's it.
It was unbelievable. But he not only did he turn it around, he was the X factor reason why they won their playoff games down the stretch. Their last 3 playoff games, the Buccaneers, the Niners, and the Bengals. He was the X factor player. Now, you can say Aaron Donald in the Super Bowl, Cooper Kupp as well in the Super Bowl. Fine. No problem with that. No problem with that. But Matthew Stafford was the one throwing the ball on those game-winning touchdown drives. And for all the interceptions that we talk about, all the interceptions he throws there, you know how many he threw in the fourth quarter all last season, including the playoffs?
I'm about to find out.
Give me a number. Take a guess. He threw, what, 15 interceptions last year? 16? Something along those lines?
17.
17? Okay, so 17 interceptions. How many of them were in the fourth quarter, crunch time?
Probably 2, because he throws his in the third quarter. He's a third quarter.
0.
Okay.
0. His passer rating was damn near perfect in the fourth quarter of all the games he played all season. He showed up when his team needed him. And of all the guys on this list, I do have a few problems with, to be honest with you, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, Derek Carr. I think it's early. I need postseason success. Josh Allen has gotten me to an AFC title game. Joe Burrow, a Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes, Super Bowl. Deshaun Watson has won playoff games. Russell Wilson, Super Bowl. Rodgers, Super Bowl. Brady, Super Bowl. Stafford, Super Bowl. I'm not ready to put Justin Herbert, Derek Carr, and Lamar Jackson, even though I think they're all fantastic. I'm not ready to put them on that list with those guys when we say you're winning games because of these individuals. So when I look at this list, it essentially looks very similar to the top 10 quarterback list we went over the other day. And Terry, you weren't here on Tuesday, but Pro Football Network came out with a list, top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL. Where do you think Stafford was ranked?
7th.
Interesting. Where would you rank him? If you had to give it like your opinion on it. Is he a top 3 quarterback?
Probably 10.
Probably 10? Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, I was not expecting that. He's 9 on this list.
Okay.
And ahead of him are quarterbacks Lamar Jackson, Dak Prescott, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes.
You know who's going to fall off that list?
Dak Prescott.
Yes.
Yeah, he's a disaster. He shouldn't be on the list, but that's a whole different problem I have.
Right.
Russell Wilson should be on that
you
list.
Go back. Name.
Yeah.
The Dallas
Results
Cowboys.
matter.
He's going to be on that list.
Whether people want to accept it or not, Matthew Stafford last season was the best quarterback in the NFL. He was. The most yards, regular season, postseason combined. The most touchdowns. Super Bowl champion, 3 game-winning drives in the fourth quarter in the playoffs. Don't want to hear it. The best fourth quarter quarterback in all of the NFL. And those weren't meaningless games where they were down and it didn't matter. This isn't the Lions we're talking about. This is the Rams. They won their division. So I don't want to hear that. Oh, by the way, he played those games on the road to get to the Super Bowl. May I add? Outside of the San Francisco game.
His home games are on the road, too.
Technically.
I mean, let's be frank about that.
For being honest, I guess, sure.
But you know what? It just shows how the Lions can hold somebody back. If you had a discussion with people about Matthew Stafford being a top 15 quarterback when he was with the Lions, people would grab you by the collar, say, "Shut up, bitch. You don't know football. That's not a top 15 quarterback." Then he goes to the Rams, and he's ranked 7th,
I have
8th,
a question
9th.
for Robert McDaniel. Robert, what team doesn't have luck? I want to know. Is luck not involved in sports? It is, with every winning team. Every team that accomplishes the ultimate prize, which is winning a Super Bowl, has a moment, a stroke of luck. The Rams weren't lucky last season. They were very good. They were very talented. And what took them from a team that barely won the division, that took Arizona to collapse for them to win the division to an unstoppable team in the postseason was their quarterback play stepped up. Stafford played at an elite level in the playoffs. It's that simple. And the defense, yes, did show up, and it was there. But don't bring up the dropped interceptions against San Francisco, because for every dropped interception you bring up, you have to bring up the 2 or 3 Jalen Ramsey dropped interceptions that would have been pick sixes, mind you. So I don't want to hear about luck. Every team is fortunate. Every team has a moment, a stroke of luck. The Bills were unlucky for 4 straight Super Bowls. It happens. But they were damn good. They weren't there because they were lucky.
And there's forget Stafford. There are plays when you look at any playoff game that could change the direction of a game. And the joke that people make is, well, the football is an oval, so it's going to bounce your way sometimes. It's going to bounce the other way sometimes. So you try to get that 60-40 split, and you can win a game. When we look at real football games, and maybe not involving the Detroit Lions, games are decided. They played 3 hours of football. And for the most part, I would say 80% of games are decided by 6 or 7 plays. So a lot of luck is involved in the National Football League because the teams, for the most part, are even. You may get a little better coaching. You may have a better quarterback. But a lot of times, games are won because that football wiggled a certain way and not the other. Somebody dropped an easy touchdown pass or...
Zeke, I'm just going to acknowledge you right now, and then I'm going to ignore you because you have to be one of the dumbest people in the chat on a daily, consistent basis. Zeke, my friend, Jared Goff does not win or get to the Super Bowl last year with the Los Angeles Rams. They may not even make the playoffs. Jared Goff doesn't allow Cooper Kupp to have the season he has last year. You insert Cooper Kupp against Arizona in the playoffs, yeah, they win that game. You insert Jared Goff against Tampa Bay, you insert him against San Francisco or the Bengals, they don't win any of those games. Shut the hell up. Do me a favor. Don't be stupid in the chat. I like to think that all of you are somewhat educated. Do me a favor. I don't like calling you stupid, but damn it, you're stupid. And I can't fix stupid.
Yeah, and I would say, have you been to an actual Super Bowl game? I've been to 8 or 9, and the NFL goes out of their way to make it neutral. Yes, the Rams didn't have to travel. Yes, the Rams could sleep in their bed, but that's not always an advantage. The advantage for a home team is the home crowd, is you get to play. The Rams didn't even get to play their music, the stuff that they like at the season, because they said that it would create an unfair advantage. So I don't buy they were at home, that's why they won.
That's garbage.
Huh?
That's garbage. Yeah, I agree.
It is. That's because the NFL...
Why don't we make this excuse for Tom Brady last year? I didn't hear this talk about Tom Brady and the Buccaneers.
Well, because he's the greatest.
Oh, well, no, excuse me. Well, his defense did a hell of a job eliminating Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
We can talk about that. Why are we nitpicking? The guy was the best quarterback in the league last year, especially when it counted, which was the fourth quarter and the playoffs.
Which is what he did here a lot of times.
So, here we are. We are going to head to a quick break. When we get back, Ku Khalil from Locked On Pistons will be joining us on the Morning Woodward Show. I'm excited, Maddie. I'm excited. He's got a hell of a jumper. Have you seen his jump shot?
I've not, but I heard big things on Twitter. So
he's gonna be one of the first people invited to the Woodward.
Is he a 3-point shooter or mid range?
Both. He's got game.
Okay.
He can hoop.
Can he hoop better than Fish can hoop?
I think
Fish has got skills.
Fish, how good are you at basketball, buddy?
I mean, I wouldn't say I'm great, but I wouldn't say I'm terrible.
But he can ball, is what he's saying.
What do you do well on the basketball court?
You know what
I mean, I'm passing. If I get the ball, I'm passing it.
Fish.
I'm not going to take a
dunk
shot.
on Adham.
Fish, you know what? We can do that in the office. I don't mind. I'll take my
5-foot hoop.
I'll take my
I mean, we have a hoop in one of the offices there.
Fish, what's your vertical? 47? 48?
No, 8.
Yeah, I was thinking more like -8.
Oh, God. Oh, God. All right. Well, guys, we'll be right back. But before we go, Maddie, could you tell everybody at home about the lifestyle beverage that is Cintron?
Yes, I can. So the summer of Cintron is here, and it is now available at your local Kroger. Pick it up at Kroger. They've got a deal going on right now, 2 for just $4. That's an absolute steal. My favorite flavor is the cranberry flavor. So they've got those available as well as the regular and the sugar-free, all at Kroger right now. So head on over to your local Kroger. Cintron is a new energy drink for the active lifestyle. Drink it, live it with Cintron.
Hi, I'm Kay Cunningham. Working with Hall Financial to purchase my first home was easier than I could have ever imagined. They treated me like family from start to finish. Find out for yourself at callhallfirst.com.
New to the game or a season better? OddsTrader.com has everything you need to make the right bet ahead of kickoff. Begin your handicapping journey with OddsTrader. Improve your edge by finding the best price on every game from sportsbooks in your backyard. Take advantage of the numerous sign-up bonus offers to pad your bankroll. Dive into key game statistics, player performance, and even account for the projected game day weather. Best of all, you can use the OddsTrader Bet Tracker to keep a log of your action. Welcome to OddsTrader, and best of luck.
Get a shot up. This is for the win. All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us on the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Also featured on The Roar on 99.1, 93.5, and 94.7 HD2. So, Terry, do you want to tell our friend Justin in the chat why you can't unblock him?
Because I have too many followers, and don't I have to scroll all the way back?
No, you can search his name.
Yeah, you can just search his name in the search bar.
I mean, we can make this a thing if you want to do it right now.
No, don't unblock him.
You just search up.
I think I think you should
Terry
unblock
says he doesn't block people anymore, so you should feel special.
Well,
that
he
you're
said
actually
anymore.
I
So
don't
that
think
could have been
so,
like from 5 years ago.
I will vouch for Justin here. I think
I love it.
I think there's some
Wait,
misinformation
can you tell
out there.
us why you blocked him in the first place?
That's my
Do you
boy.
remember?
Because he was an ass.
Is that one of those 4 a.m. things you did?
Huh?
Was that like at 4 a.m. you just saw something and blocked him, or was this like middle of the day? Okay.
I'm like, I'm getting rid of this dude. No, it wasn't like I'm drunk. Let me just block. No, that was conscious.
Okay.
Well, I will say,
the
Terry,
only reason I would unblock him is because of Adham.
Oh,
You're gonna let him make your decision.
Well, I mean,
I'm vouching for a friend.
I'm trying to build a
building chemistry
relationship.
That's cute.
So this is
I
his
love that for
boy.
you guys.
If Terry told me not to call out a certain person in the chat, I would
That's
stop.
Oh,
so
that's a
false.
lie.
That is, I know it is.
That's a lie.
Look, building a relationship is about compromising. All right.
And you compromise nothing?
I always compromise. What do you mean?
That is false.
How don't I?
Oh
Terry,
man,
do
everybody's
I-
calling over here.
Oh God, what did I do to you guys?
Dang.
Yikes.
Jesus Christ. Well, Ku is currently circling around Birmingham trying to find parking, so we'll bump him to 929. So, Terry, let's just get the Josh Donaldson issue out of the way. You have an issue with him being suspended.
Yeah, I don't get why Josh Donaldson was suspended. He called Tim Anderson Jackie.
Yep.
And to me, that's not racist. And that's what he was accused of being. And I'm sure he said it in an asshole-ish way. He called him Jackie. But still,
I mean, the team took offense. Wasn't there like a big brawl?
Yeah, it was,
yeah, the team took
I
offense
think there was
to
a
it.
brawl because of fantasy football and another with other baseball players. But
I did see that.
I don't, I like to discuss things that are racist. I think I like to bring attention to things that I want to change the world. But when you start calling somebody Jackie is a racist thing, and then he gets suspended a game and fined, I have a problem with that. I just don't think that was the proper way to do it. Because on a baseball field, football field, basketball, people talk so much trash, and they call you the worst names in the world. We never hear about it, but it happens. So
There is history between the two, though, right? Allegedly, he had said it a few years ago, and this was a running thing after he
Tim
said,
Anderson
"I'm the
called
new,
themselves the
next
modern day
Ro-
Jackie Robinson.
Yep. So, if it's said in tongue in cheek, where it's like, "Hey, Jackie, like you're not that good," as in he's just talking bull, that's fine. I don't know how you suspend him. I don't. I agree with you. I don't know enough whether it was racially said. It doesn't seem like it because Donaldson was open. Now, if you say something and you know you messed up, typically you aren't out there, being that honest. He literally admitted not only that he said it, but he gave context to why he did, and he was surprised that everybody got offended.
Right.
So,
I'm surprised too. I think we are so sensitive that we go overboard, but we take things. We just take things out of context. For instance, I'll tell you another thing that when we had the George Floyd protests and everything. My take on it. Yes, I do think police are abusive with black people, particularly black males. That it is a problem. So instead of trying to correct that problem, what we did was decide, let's take down Confederate statues. I don't like them, but it doesn't help me. It doesn't help black people. It doesn't help black people on the west side of Detroit or the east side of Detroit if you're going to take down some statues. I'd rather see us fight to have more jobs in the inner city, to have better education for inner city kids and stuff like that. We lost focus that. We didn't talk about that. It was like, let's tear down these Confederate statues. That's going to solve the problem.
Yeah, I agree with you on this. I think it was very stupid, actually, because it took away from the point, or let's call it what it was, an opportunity to actually drive influence. And the way you make change is by influence. You have to have influence to make change. And when something tragic like that happens, unfortunately, it is an opportunity to learn and make changes. You see what happened in Texas with the school shooting, right? This is an opportunity to learn and make changes. Now, what those changes are, where we go from here, that is up in the air. But it is an opportunity to make those changes. I didn't agree with taking down historical that is irrelevant. That's not making change. That's just
and you're calling historical, and I'll admit I don't want them up, but to take them down is not the solution for this problem.
Yeah, look, you have to acknowledge your history, even if it's an ugly one, right? The United States.
But most of these people were traders.
Again, yes, they were slave traders, and it's
not slave traders, traders to their country.
Oh, traders. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I thought you meant
they fought the United States.
Excuse me. Well, we're talking even during the Civil War, post-Civil War, there was a lot of issue. I mean, we're still fighting this issue today, but again, I think it's important to learn from your history, and to ignore it or act like it didn't happen, I think is a fundamental mistake, in my opinion. I think to learn from
it is. We have a shall we say rough history.
Absolutely.
This country was,
and no country's perfect, by the way.
Right. And but I'm talking about this one. This one was based on violence and a lot of things that were ugly. But I've always been taught, if you ignore history, you will repeat history. And I think that's sort of happening now. Today, I feel like we're closer to the 60s than we were 20 years ago. Because I just think the thought and mentality today is just so outrageous. I never thought I would hear people say the things they say, do the things they do. So the country to me is not in a good place in many regards. I don't like the fact that we have school shootings and nothing happens. What I always hear is even if we had laws in place, it couldn't have stopped that school shooting. Well, that's a damn lie for the Texas one, because one of the laws was you couldn't buy an assault rifle at age 18. They changed that law. Now you can buy one at 18. So technically, this guy would have had to be 21 to buy it, so he couldn't have shot up the school. Second thing, and I think people want to ignore this, I think you have to have schools in lockdown, because it happens in inner city schools every day. I grew up in a school where, and they didn't have shootings back then, but for me to go to school, you had to go through a metal detector, and we didn't have the armed guards yet. But today, if you try to get into a school in Detroit, good luck. If you have a gun or you making some threats, they'll light you up. The security there is almost the same as at the airport. So I'm in favor of doing something. And I say, these suburban schools and these rural schools, treat them like they're in the hood. Because if you're in the hood, you can't walk into a school. If you're in the hood, there's no door that's open in the back. And if it is, there's a guard there. If you're in the hood, when you go to school, the last high school I went to was Cass Tech. There was at least, I would say, 8 armed guards there. The Detroit police, not the Detroit police, but the public schools have a police department. So good luck shooting up a school in Detroit. It's not going to happen. And it hasn't happened.
Fair
but
enough.
Now people, we can't have my kids go through that. Well, that's baloney. Kids do it now. And you know what? They're fine. They get used to it. And in fact, when we went through security and everything, the thing that students bitched about most is that they had to wear an ID tag. That they were more pissed about that than going through that. I said, what? So
Right.
you got your name and your face on it. That's what we're going to bitch about?
Fair enough, Terry. Well, we got Ku Khalil in studio right now, so we'll get to him in just a minute. But before we do, Maddie, the best defense on and off the court. Could you tell us who?
Yes, it is. It is Guardian Alarm. They are going to keep you safe and give you peace of mind, whether you're at home, on the road. They're 24/7 local monitoring. Make sure what's important to you is safe. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT for peace of mind. That's right. You heard Fish. 1-800-STAY-OUT right now and let them know that Woodward Sports sent you.
That's
Hi,
ridiculous.
my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Kroger's, and if you wanna know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper. Tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
When you need apparel, there is only one place to go, and that is Big Frog in Novi. With no setup fees, no artwork fees, no minimum, and a 24-hour turnaround, you can have your whole team outfitted in no time. Embroidery, direct-to-garment, vinyl, and screen printing, Big Frog has the styles that you want. Visit bigfrog.com/Novi or call 844-4-BIG-FROG today.
All right, we're back here on the Morning Woodward Show. Ku Khalil from Locked On Pistons joining us this morning. Terry, I've been looking forward to this. Ku,
I know you're so excited.
Ku, I gotta start off with your jumper. All right.
It's what, isn't it?
Leaked footage on Twitter. It's not bad. It's pretty smooth, actually.
It's what?
It's pretty good.
It is.
So you're gonna be probably the first person we invite to our pickup league.
Okay.
And I think you're probably gonna be better than everyone back there. No joke.
Probably.
Make him the commissioner.
Probably make him the commissioner. Who knows? Why? Who's gonna be better than him? You? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Fish plays basketball. What does that mean?
Fish.
Good point.
Yeah.
On a
You guys
5
are
foot hoop. Yeah. Okay.
hilarious.
Great.
Terry, you mean 3 feet rim? Give me some respect.
Oh, okay. All right.
Give me some
Whatever.
respect.
3 feet rim. Give me some respect.
3 feet,
God
not
damn
5.
it. All right, Ku. Latest ESPN mock draft: Keegan Murray at 5. I want to know, one, your thoughts on who the Pistons should take at 5. Your thoughts on Keegan Murray, how he fits with Cade Cunningham, and then secondly, who is the best fit available at 5 in your opinion?
All right, so Keegan Murray, I'm not as high on him. I know there's a lot of people who are. It seems like the Pistons are very high on him. I had Ant Wright on my podcast last week, and he is a big Keegan guy, and he was trying to convince me. I've looked into some film, watched some videos breaking him down. He seems like he's going to be a pretty good off-ball, polished offensive player. Has some work he needs to do on ball creation. There's some questions about his ceiling, obviously, because he's going to be a little bit older come draft time than most prospects usually are nowadays. He's going to be 22. I think he'd be a good fit with Cade. I think he would be. It's just my questions on the ceiling of how high he can get makes me – I'm not as big of a fan of his. But I could definitely see the Pistons taking him. I think he would be a good fit with them. Jaden Ivey, I don't think Jaden Ivey will be there at 5, so I think Pistons fans who want Jaden Ivey probably should start to, throw that out. I don't think he's going to be there at 5. The guy that I've been wanting, and I know that this guy is the big swing and the big miss, it's either going to be a home run or you're not going to get nothing, that people are saying, is Shaedon Sharpe. I really like Shaedon Sharpe. I know that he doesn't have a lot of film, actually no film, because he didn't play in college. He has high school and EYBL film. But his potential to be a 3-level scorer is too interesting for me not to take him. I think the thing with Shaedon Sharpe is that in a few years he could be the best player in this draft, and then in a few years he could be out the league. Like, it could be one of those things. So it's tough. I actually had someone from Locked On, one of our draft guys, come on, and he actually believes that his floor isn't as low as some people believe it is. But either way, I think Shaedon Sharpe is where I'm leaning right now. I know he's a big risk in a lot of people's eyes, but I know that the safe pick and a guy who seems to really fit with what Troy Reaver likes in a guy and what he likes in a player. How I know a few years ago or last year he said we drafted the person, not the player or whatever. So I think Keegan Murray fits that most. Another guy that's rising up people's boards is Benedict Mathurin. I know he's a pretty good fit as well. But as of right now, I'm going with Sharpe. I'm probably in the minority with that, but I'd go with Sharpe.
I tell you, I'm not a Keegan Murray guy. I'm sorry. I was sitting. We had a little Pistons thing, and I was sitting next to a Keegan Murray fan, and I just turned to him and said, "Hey, I think he's soft. Not everybody can fit with Cade Cunningham. I believe that everybody can fit, but who's going to fit the best?" But I guess my question is, how did Jaden Ivey go from he's definitely going to be there until well, he's probably not going to be there? What has happened in the last few weeks?
Well, I think, to be honest, I think there was a lot of Pistons fans hoping that he'd be there at 5, 1, and then 2, Sacramento, it sounds like, is really interested in Keegan Murray, and if they think they can trade back and get him maybe 6 or 7, somewhere around there, then they'll do that, and whoever goes up to 4 is taking Jaden Ivey. You're not trading up to get Keegan Murray. You're not trading up to get Shaedon Sharpe. You're not trading up to get one of those guys. If someone trades with Sacramento, what it sounds like Sacramento's really trying to do, they don't really want to take that pick, at least what it sounds like. Whoever trades with them is going to be getting Jaden Ivey. So that's if Sacramento stays at 4 and then they take Keegan Murray anyways instead of just trading out of it, which I personally just don't see that happening. If they do that, then obviously Jaden Ivey, it sounds like, may be there at 5. But also, there's also some rumors going on. Last few days I've been seeing that apparently the Thunder are really high on Ivey too now, and that Houston is interested in Ivey, and the how tantalizing it would be to have like a backcourt of Ivy and Jalen Green. So I think Ivy, he's going to be wherever he gets selected. I think that's will be where the draft actually starts. If he doesn't get drafted at 4, I think the Pistons probably take him at 5. But if he takes him, if he gets taken at 4 or 5 is where the draft starts.
But couldn't some team, you said you won't trade up to get Shaedon Sharpe, but couldn't some team just start looking at every game film he has, and then some GM says, you know what, this is the guy. Nobody knows what I know. I'm going to trade up and get him.
Well, yeah, I could see that happening, but the thing is, I don't think – I completely agree that some GM probably could do that, and I won't doubt that there is a GM probably doing that right now. I just think that they're probably also aware that he'll probably fall to you. He's probably going to slip to you. A lot of guys, it sounds like that a lot of people aren't happy that he's just skipping workouts and choosing not to work out a lot of times, which I think is pretty smart on his end. He's looked like he's a guaranteed top 7 pick. Why sacrifice it and look bad in a workout? But I think whoever does that is not going to be in the top 4, and I think a lot of teams outside of that top 4 feel pretty confident that he'll eventually slide to them. So I don't think I feel like with like the top 3 guys, the big guys, and then Jay and Ivy, those guys are the ones everyone feels like you'll probably have to go up to go after. The other ones, I feel like they, unless you get like a hint of it beforehand, like okay, the Pistons are going to get Shaedon Sharpe. I really want Shaedon Sharpe. Let's try to get a deal done with the Pistons. I don't think any GM, or as of right now, I mean, things could change. I don't think anyone feels like they have to trade up to get Sharpe. Sharpe will probably fall to them. All
right, fair enough. Ku, stick around. When we get back, I do want to ask you about how Detroit can build a championship contender around Cade Cunningham, whether that's citing the Boston Celtics, the Golden State Warriors, how the Pistons are going to be relevant 3-5 years from now when Cade Cunningham is likely a top 5, top 7, top 10 player in the NBA. But before we do, I have to tell all of you about Strawberry Fest over at Big Boy. The Big Boy. Oh yeah, we were there. Oh yeah, we were there last week. It was an absolute blast. Big Boy has everything that you're looking for. You have to try their desserts, whether it's the strawberry cheesecake, whether it's the waffles and strawberry. It's unbelievable. The berry delicious strawberry pie.
Did y'all eat that
they
pie?
got it all. The strawberry bacon chicken wrap. It's all available to you at your local Big Boy. Find the nearest one and check them out, guys.
Fellas, let's be honest. We like things to be easy. We like simple stuff, like sports 7 days a week. We like things uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play. And before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Make sure you're listening to Woodward Sports all day long. Start your morning with the Morning Woodward Show. Spend middays with Big D Energy. Watch and listen your drive home with the Bottom Line. And don't forget about Woodward Bets Daily. All live, all right here on the Woodward Sports Network.
Bedrock Detroit on Monroe Street, Midway. Open all summer long from Memorial Day through Labor Day. There will be basketball, roller skating, mini golf, art institutions, live music, and food trucks. Guys, free Wi-Fi. Check it out. It'll be a blast. Summer is better at the Monroe Street Midway, brought to you by Bedrock Detroit. We're so excited to have them on board. We're also excited to have Ku. We're also excited to have Ku in the studio to talk some
He can show off his jump shot. They got basketball hoops down there.
It's a wet jump shot, to use his words.
It is. It's very,
I wouldn't go that far, but hey, you know what?
It's very wet. It took many years of reconstructing and working on it for it to get to that point.
I'm an elite free throw shooter. That was my contributions to my basketball teams growing up.
We all got something.
Yep.
We all got something.
Elite free throw shooter. I think I missed 3 free throws my entire middle school and high school career.
How many did you take? How many did you take?
Over at least probably north of 80, 90. No, north of 80, 90 throughout all those years. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Pretty efficient. Anyways.
What NBA player does Ku sort of look like? Look at him.
I get I get 3 certain ones repeatedly over
All
and
right,
over.
I'm interested. Who?
Well, the first one, Klay Thompson.
That's who I was thinking.
Yes, Klay Thompson. I got literally
I see
the last
it a little bit.
Klay Thompson, Derek White.
Oh,
Derek White, and then Isaiah Livers.
No, I don't see livers in you.
Livers,
unless you put out braids.
Yeah, when I have my braids in, they say livers.
I think livers when you put out the braids. I think the mini fro, probably Derek White. Klay Thompson, probably I'd rank third.
I've been getting Klay Thompson since I was like 9th grade. I remember I was literally going to say something when you were talking about Cass Tech earlier. We scrimmaged Cass Tech like my 11th grade year. And this was when I wasn't playing a lot. And I remember I came in at the end of the scrimmage.
Bench warmer, classic.
Yeah, I was. So then someone on the sideline, I wasn't even wanting to be there. I was just running up and down. Some dude on the side on Cass Tech's team was like, damn, Klay Thompson, you just in here getting cardio, aren't you? And I was like, it was embarrassing. So I was like, damn.
All right, Cade Cunningham has balled out his rookie year. I think everyone's excited for the future here in Detroit. I look at the 4 teams that were in the Western and Eastern Conference Finals. I have the Boston Celtics, Golden State Warriors, Dallas Mavericks, Miami Heat. The Heat I won't include on this conversation because they're technically built through trades and free agency. The Warriors, Mavericks, and really it's the Warriors and Celtics were built fundamentally through the draft. And I believe that's the path Troy Weaver and the Pistons have to take. I don't see a marquee free agent signing in Detroit. It's never happened. I don't think it'll ever happen. You're not bringing a superstar in the prime of his career to Detroit. It's never happened. I don't expect it to happen, even if Cade is a top 5 player. Having said that, Devin Booker is available in 2024. That is something you can consider. Whether it's pursuing DeAndre in the summer, that's something you can consider. How do you build a championship contender in 5 years, 6 years from now? Is it nailing the pick at 5 this year, whether it's Ivy or Shaedon Sharpe? Or is it we need to find a way to get somebody either through a trade, a sign-and trade, or free agency?
Well, I think the most basic answer is you have to make more right decisions than bad decisions. So I think that's the most basic answer there. I agree. I don't think the Pistons are going to get like big time free agents ever. I don't think they'll ever get like a superstar to come to Detroit. However, I think if you go back to like the way the 2014 was made, like it was made through trades and it was made through like signings that people didn't think were superstar signings, but turned out to be really good signings, and trades, obviously. I think that's the way the Pistons are going to have to go. They're going to have to make positive like improvements with trades, win trades, and make good the signings that you do make sure they're good signings. So, like for example, I'm going to go back to Stan Van Gundy's time. Stan Van Gundy was a really good with trades. Like he made really good trades. He won basically almost, well, besides the Blake one, and people will probably feel differently about that one, but he won a lot of his trades, but free agency just sunk him. He made bad
and
decisions.
The draft.
Yeah, well, yeah, the draft too, but the free agencies really just kept sinking him every year. John Lure, Boban, Langston, like that kind of stuff, it just kept sinking him. You can't make bad decisions over and over. You won't be able to improve. So I think the best way the Pistons could improve with Cade is you're going to have to hit on your draft picks. That's what Troy Weaver's supposed to be. He's supposed to be a draft guy. So I'm assuming that's where he's going to make his bread and butter out of. You have to hit your draft picks, whether that's 5, 14, 20, 32. Like, you have to hit some of these picks. And then 2, they're going to eventually overpay for a free agent. Like, that's the only way you usually get someone to come to the Pistons, to come to Detroit. You're going to have to eventually overpay, because if you pay someone the same and you give them the option between LA and Detroit, they're probably going to choose LA. You give the same price between Detroit and New York.
Well, they're going
to
be able to only offer the max at the end of the day. Whatever the max for that free agent that given year is, that's what they're going to be able to offer. What I'd ask you is, there's no clear number 2 on this team. You have Bagley, you have Grant, you have Saddiq Bey. Do we believe Saddiq Bey, 1, can develop into a number 2? And my second part to that is, if you aren't able to draft a superstar talent number 2, you're going to have to at least get a 4, 5, 6-time All-Star at least. Probably 4 or 5 I could accept to play alongside Cade. Because whoever you draft this year, they're not going to reach their potential or start entering their prime until year 5, year 6. Unless an anomaly, Luka, you get one of these guys. It just doesn't happen, though.
Mm-hmm.
I think the team's 4 or 5 years away. Who out of the players, is it Shaedon Sharpe? Is it Jaden Ivey? Who at 5 is the best fit for Cade to be the number 2 go-to guy?
All right, well, your Saddiq Bey question first. So me personally, I do not see that in Saddiq's future. I know a lot of fans like to overvalue their talent. They like to overvalue their guys. I think what Saddiq Bey did last year proved me wrong. I didn't think he'd be as good as he was last year with the ball in his hands and eventually improve and get to the line a lot more and be physical around the rim. That stuff, I didn't think he'd do, so he proved me wrong with that. But I think what he did last year and then leaping to being a number 2 on a championship team, I think that's a pretty big leap. I just don't see that in his future. A number 2 guy, you're talking about like a Cade. I actually talked about this in the podcast a few days ago. In order for that to happen, you'd have to be looking at Cade as like a Giannis type and then hope Sadiq can get somewhere around a Chris Middleton, like a borderline all-star, and just hope that Cade can be like every year in, year out MVP candidate kind of stuff. And that's asking a lot of, and then also your surrounding parts with that. I just don't think Sadiq can be the number 2. I don't think the Pistons should be banking on that. I don't think they are. 2, for who you think at 5 to be his number 2, that's the worry with me with Shane Sharp. I like Shane Sharp, and I would take the chance on him. But my concern that I've repeatedly said is that do the Pistons have the patience to develop him? Because it sounds like.
Do you care?
Do I care what?
Do you care if it takes 5 years to develop him or it takks 3 and he busts? Does it matter?
No, me personally, I don't.
What are your expectations next season, whoever they draft?
I expect him to be
wins?
a little bit better than this year, but still probably somewhere between that like 4 and 9 range in the picks, somewhere around there.
So it's not getting any better anytime soon. Even now, if you get Ayton or Booker the following year, we can have a different conversation. But look at the Golden State Warriors. They drafted Steph. They won 22 games, 24 games, and then 29, and then 42 or something along those lines. They sucked for a long time. And what happened? They sucked, and it was Clay, Draymond, and Steph building chemistry. Mark Jackson came in. All right, we learned how to win. All right, we want to take the next step. By year 8, year 9, championship. You're not winning a championship with Cade before he's 25. There is an elite list. Jason Tatum has the opportunity to join it. That'll be Kareem, Magic, Larry Bird, Kobe Bryant. Very short list of players that won a championship being a star player at that age. Doesn't happen. So you're going to have to be patient if you're Detroit. So to your point on Shaedon Sharp, I'm willing to draft him because I know this team isn't going to be in the Eastern Conference Final for another 4 or 5 years.
Well, see, that's even if it's not Shaedon Sharp, like you could go Mathurin, you could go Ivy if he is there. I think Ivy will be the pick if he is there. You can go Keegan Murray. That's what you just said. That's kind of the reason why I'm out on Keegan Murray, is because his ceiling. I question his ceiling, and if his ceiling is relatively low compared to the other guys, which I believe it is. Like, you can get those guys in free agency. You can get those type of guys in trades. Like, the Pistons need, like you've been mentioning, like, they need a guy who has a chance to be a high-end number 2, a high-end number 3. So I'd rather take the chance at that. But there's other guys. I know a lot of people think Benedict Mathurin could be one of those guys that end up, proving a lot of people wrong and turning into, like, one of those players. So there's other players they can take besides Sharp. I just worry about whether fans will have the patience for whoever they draft to develop. And that's why I'm kind of iffy on Sharp actually coming to the Pistons. But there's other guys they could do as well. Also, with Ayton possibly being a max free agent this offseason, that also would, if they were to try to get Ayton and they got him, that would also change.
They would be a team fighting for a play-in maybe this year for sure.
Mm-hmm.
What is your opinion on Ayton? Obviously, he fell out with Monty Williams down the stretch. I'm not sure what the hell happened. There hasn't really been any clarity outside of an argument between the two. It seems like his teammates like him a lot. The kid's got potential. Is his ceiling 18 and 12 or 18 and 10 what like it is right now, or is it 20 and 13? I don't think it's ever going to be 27 and 14 a game like a Joel Embiid. I don't think he'll ever reach that. So are you interested in giving a max contract to DeAndre Ayton?
So like I was saying earlier, you're going to have to give a max contract to one of these guys. Not this year, maybe not next year, but you're probably going to have to overpay one of these guys to get them come to Detroit. And the only guy that I see that I would be willing to overpay this season or this offseason is DeAndre Ayton. I don't want to overpay for Brunson. I don't want to overpay for Sexton. I don't want to overpay for Bridges. Aiden's the only one I would consider overpaying. If they want to go after him, I'd be in support of it. I think he's a really damn good player. The fallout in the playoffs, I think a lot of people have said, and I follow a few Suns people, it sounds like that it was just, I have a contract coming up. We're down by 40. I'm not coming back into this game and getting hurt, and I'm not doing that. And also, he was probably pissed that he wasn't getting the ball a lot. It sounded like he was mad about that. So, does that deter me from wanting to sign him? No. I think he's a really good player with potential to be better than he is right now. I think that's the one thing the Pistons could sell him on, is that they're one of the only teams. I'm sure there's one or two other ones, but they're one of the only teams that could sell him on being, hey, you're going to come in, we're going to give you a bigger offensive role, you're going to be one of the main pieces in turning this around, and you're going to have a key partner in Cade Cunningham who can make you better, but we're not going to just let, like with CP and D Book.
They're not going to be the 1 and 2. He's going to be part of that 1-2 combo.
Yeah, you're going to be part of that 1-2. You're going to have the chance to blossom, be the guy that you want to be, and also be a big part of why this team turns around. So when it does turn around, people are looking at you and Cade, not, you're not some afterthought, whatever.
But you know what, fellas, I think it's a little bit more complicated than what you're talking about. The Pistons can't just say, we're going to overpay for somebody and they're going to come. Even when the 2004 championship team, every free agent and even trades, those guys had flaws. Chauncey Billups has been probably the most high-profile free agent the Pistons have signed. A lot of teams didn't want him. They thought Chauncey was selfish. They didn't like his game. Most teams didn't want him. So that's how you were able to sign him. There really wasn't much competition. In the sign and trade with Ben Wallace, Ben Wallace was not the Pistons' first choice. They wanted somebody else off the Orlando Magic. But they settled for Ben Wallace, who became their cornerstone piece. Rasheed Wallace, the reason he was available in the trade because he was an ass out in Portland, and they were tired of him. So they were able to get him. So I'm not sure if you can duplicate bringing in a bunch of guys other teams sort of don't want. Those are the kind of guys you're going to have to bring in to the Pistons because this is not a free agent destination.
Well, let's take a quick break. When we get back, it'll be Mailbag. We'll get questions for Ku, and we'll continue the conversation in a moment. But before we do, the Warriors and the Celtics open up the NBA Finals tonight. And I've got the Warriors covering. And where you can make that bet is on MyBookie. Bet from anywhere, anytime using MyBookie. Sign up today using code Woodward. They'll match your first deposit. Take advantage of the free money. And if you're like Maddie or Fish and you absolutely suck at sports betting, call the Gambling Problem Hotline at 1-800-270-7117.
It took exploring 50 different formulas and hosting countless taste tests, but we believe Gypsy Vodka is the smoothest vodka on the market. Don't believe us? Ask the owners.
We're Mike and Adam Kazanowski with High Five Spirits Distillery. We're in close to about 1,200 locations throughout Michigan. We wanted to create a brand that was geared more towards freedom, love, adventure, and at the end of the day, we really wanted to tell a story that inspired other people to take risks, follow their dreams, whatever that might be.
Yo, Scott from the Woodward Bet Show. Hey, you guys got to make sure you're checking us out. Our boy Booners, 11-1 their last 2 nights. Also, you guys got to make sure you check out oddstrader.com. It's the best place to check all the odds at all the different sports books. I mean, hey, we got the NBA Finals starting tonight, so lots of fun to be had. We also got some baseball and everything else. But hey, let's get to that winner. We're going to roll with the Seattle and Baltimore over tonight. We also like a little bit in the NBA, but we'll tell you about that later on the Woodward Bet Show at 4:30. Oddstrader.com, Woodward Bets. Check it out.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
It's over.
We're back here on the Morning Woodward Show. It's Mailbag time. Get your questions in the chat. Ku, I got to start with Jeremy Grant for you. What's the play with Jeremy Grant? Do you see him on the court this year with the Detroit Pistons leading up to the trade deadline? And are you willing to move off of him for maybe less than what you were expecting?
All right, so before I answer that, I just want to say real quick to what Terry was saying last segment, real quick.
Go, you go for it.
I think what you were saying overall is correct, but I think it's basically in the same breath of you have to take a chance on a guy, in the same breath. The Pistons are gonna have to take a chance on someone, whether that's someone who was a miscast or someone that people didn't want, whether people want out through trades, it all comes into the same umbrella of you have to take a chance on someone that someone else may not want to take a chance on. So I agree with his overall point there. But Jeremy Grant, I've flip-flopped with Jeremy so many times. The thing is, I do not want to watch Jeremy Grant play 18 games no more. I'm out on Jeremy. I'm not a big fan of his. But I think it's becoming more and more of a probability that he's going to be on the Pistons to start the season. I'm starting to see a future where they give him an extension, actually. The thing is, around this time of year, you hear so many different things. There's so many different things going around. There's so many different things being reported, so many different things you're hearing behind the scenes, like all kinds of stuff you're hearing, and you never know which part is true, why this is being said, why that. It's so many different things. But basically, at this point, what's today, June 2nd? June 2nd, from where I'm at, based on everything I understand, I think it's becoming less and less of a likely that Jeremy will be traded.
God damn it, Troy.
Because the thing is that I think some people are overvaluing Jeremy. Now, he could be. You may get what you want, but I don't think the Pistons are going to get the value that they want at the trade deadline.
They should have traded him at the trade deadline then.
Well, I mean, you could have, but it seems like that they have a price on Jeremy, and if a team's not going to meet that price, they're not going to trade him.
That's insane to me.
I think that's based off, if that's true, if that's the case, I think based off that means they're not really all in on trading him in the first place. Like, they're okay signing him back.
So get your Jeremy Grant jersey there, pal.
Yeah, okay.
So I wouldn't be. I want Jeremy traded. I think it's smart to trade Jeremy. I think it would make the best sense to trade him. I just had a mock draft last night with my network, and we did like trades, whatever. There's a few trades I'd make. Like, there's one floating around, like a Gordon Hayward 13-15. I think I'd do that. There's like
I would do for a future.
Yeah,
I'm not in a rush.
Yeah, I would take a. For me, even with me, like I was looking at Memphis possibly like 23 and 29 or somewhere around. I would even take like a late round first. I think it would be better to do that, but I'm starting to think that may not be what happens. I could see Jeremy on the squad.
Fair enough. Question in the chat from Jack. When are you dressing up as Al Avila? I wanted to do today, but Justin, our lead video and graphics guy, is on vacation till Monday. And the guy I wanted to take to film everything, Ryan, is filling in his place. So we're not able to do it today. And
Is it going to rain today?
I'm looking for tickets, but I don't want row 2. I'm trying to find row 1 tickets for any upcoming game. And the nearest one, I think, is like June 14, June 13, something along those lines. So ideally in the next like 48 hours.
Yeah, because everyone steals the front row tickets and then tries to resell them.
Yeah, I know, but
so they're out there somewhere.
I need the first row behind home plate because I want that camera to know that Al Avila's in town.
Well, what you can do...
Row 2 is just as fun. There's no one sitting in first row.
You can sweet talk somebody in the first row.
Also, Terry, you've been to Tiger Stadium. There's no one sitting in the first row behind home plate. There's no one who goes to these games.
We'll see. Next question in the chat. What will be higher next year? Cade's points per game or Goff's total touchdown passes? I'm going to go Goff's total touchdown passes.
I was going to say, that would have to, like...
Because Goff's was so low, too, right?
Yeah, but...
Cade is at, what, 17.9?
Yeah, I was going to say, you would have to... If he's not throwing, like, 17 touchdowns, like, isn't that a problem?
That's a big problem. Yeah, I think Goff's thrown 24 to 28 touchdowns. 28 being he's fantastic, 24 meaning he's just good.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And
Cade's not... Unless Cade surprises everyone and goes off.
Still, I'm a facilitator.
Yeah.
So I'm not thinking about 30 points tonight. I'm not thinking 28 points tonight. I'm thinking about trying to win this game.
Adam, what did Jeremy Grant do to you? Did he take your girlfriend? No.
Next, you actually like him. You like him.
I don't like Jeremy Grant.
No, you said you did the other day, but you still wanted to trade him.
No, yeah, he's a great dude. He does a lot of good charity work. This isn't personal. I just don't like him on the Detroit Pistons. He's not a good fit. He just isn't. You're going to draft a kid at number 5. Let's say we get Shaedon Sharpe. You tell me how you're going to make that work on the court. Shaedon Sharpe, Cade Cunningham, Sadiq Bey, Jeremy Grant, Marvin Bagley. Isaiah Stewart coming into the rotation. Killian Hayes coming into the rotation. Isaiah Livers coming into the rotation. Where are the shots going to come from for everybody?
Yeah.
And don't tell me Jeremy Grant's going to take a step back and help grow the young guys. Okay, not going to happen.
Yeah, I question that as well. I know he did it.
In a contract year, by the way.
Yeah, I know he did it a little bit after the All-Star break, and they actually started to look good, but I seriously question whether he'd want that role for an entire season on a team that's not that good.
100%. I agree with you. And again, he belongs on a contender. He's a good player on a contending team. On a bad team, he's a ball hog who just doesn't make anybody on the court better. We saw it last November when Cade's first few games. It was obvious. One makes his teammates better, the other is just there. So,
and I still think his mentality is, I'm not here to be the bridge for the Pistons becoming championship contenders. I'm here to show all these other teams I can play and I can help them. That's the way he plays in my mind.
All right, last question from Anthony. Who is the Lions' most productive receiver this year in terms of yards and touchdowns? Yards, I'm going to go Amon-Ra St. Brown. Touchdowns, TJ Hawkinson. I think this will be his first year reaching double-digit touchdown passes. He may not have the explosive yard numbers, but I think he's going to be a problem in the red zone if he's healthy for the whole year. So I'm going to answer this based on if they all play 17 games, I would go St. Brown for the yards. I would go Hawkinson in the red zone for touchdowns.
I think St. Brown is going to get the sweep.
Oh, really?
He'll
Both,
get
huh?
both. Right.
Impressive.
I don't see Hawkinson getting a lot of touchdowns. A lot of receptions, yes. I don't know if he's going to be in the end zone a lot.
All right, fair enough.
We'll see.
Last one, Killian Hayes. Ku, do you have a problem if I told you 4 years from now the number 7 overall pick turned out to be one of the better six-mans in the NBA, where he'd come off the bench, get you 6 and 4 a night, 6 and 6, 8 and 6, and about a steal and a half, 2 steals a night?
So that's a little bit of a turnaround from where when I first came on here with you guys. You weren't very.
I wasn't, and then he really turned it around for me. I think everyone saw how good he is and how impactful he is on the defensive side of the ball. Look, let's just be real. You need guys like that. Is it ideal? The number 7 pick wasn't an all-star. All right, so I can live with it. I look at Milwaukee, Drew Holiday. If he's a slightly lesser version of that, I take it.
Yeah, I think that would be a good role for him. I think you probably want more than just 7 and 6, 6 and 6, 8 and 6. I think he can get to a point where you're looking at. I still have really high hopes on him. I really like Killian, but being realistic, I think you could probably look at somewhere hope for like 11-5 or 10-5 off the bench, 10-5 around there at his peak, if that's the role you want him to be in. But yeah, I could see it. I'd be okay with that if that's where he is in a few years. If he's a playmaker or any kind of player for you in a few years, that means he's doing something right. Because in a few years, you hope him to be a playoff team. So if he's still here playing for you, making a difference, that has to say something.
Yeah, I was thinking if it's 12 and 6, if he's coming off the bench, that's fine.
I don't think I need him to score. I don't believe that's a strength in his game. I think he can rebound. He's definitely a facilitator, and he's just a pest on the defensive side of the ball.
I think we saw like a different mentality, like flip with him at the end of last year. Like I'm interested to see who he actually is as a player.
We'll
I think we'll find out next
young,
year.
Right? If his offensive game develops, I won't be mad.
Mm-hmm.
Given what he is right now, I think that's what it could be.
Yeah.
If it's better than that, I'd be very happy. Ku, thanks so much for joining us this morning. Really appreciate you making the trip out here.
You.
Terry, thank you so much. Alex,
I
Fish,
see
Maddie,
his game film.
we'll see all of you tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. Excited NBA Finals tip-off tonight. Can't wait to see all of you tomorrow morning. Check out Big D Energy at 11 o'clock, and we'll see you guys in a little bit.
Every day.